Hop on the Chat Nook Choo Choo, hop on the Chat Nook Choo. On the Chat Nook Choo Choo, hop on the Chat. Hop on the Chat Nook Choo Choo. Hop on the Chat Nook Choo. Hop on the Chat Nook Choo Choo. Hop on the Chat Nook Choo. Hop on the Chat Nook Choo Choo. Hop on the Chat. Hop on the Chat.
Hello! Hi everybody, it's Christine right here at the Chat Nook, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Hey, listen, this is a brand new thing that I'm doing. You know me, I'm always into something. And so, well, I just wanted to tell you how this all came about, why we're here at the Chat Nook, and just know that we want to invite you to come in here, chat about anything you want. We're going to have fun. Sometimes we'll talk about serious things. Sometimes we're going to talk about fun things. Sometimes we're going to talk about food. It's called the Chat Nook because that's what we're going to be doing. So welcome everybody to the first podcast of the Chat Nook. And let me tell you how we came to be. Okay, so in 2020, I started a brand new cooking show, and let me explain all that. In 2020, of course, you guys all remember that we had COVID. COVID hit, and people were very ill, and it was really a very horrible thing in the history of the world, right? And so, if you remember, at a certain point around March of 2020, everybody was told you can't leave your house. So we were all homebound, right? So after a few days of being homebound, I'm thinking, you know, we've got to do something that's fun, something that, you know, might just make people perk up a little bit or distract somebody from all the horrible, you know, sickness, and you were so scared to do anything because you didn't want to catch it and all that stuff. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I always found cooking fun. And we, in our family, we have great, and I mean great cooks. And we'll talk about that as we go along. And so I said, I think I'm going to do an online cooking show. So I put one together, and it was on a Wednesday, and we went on, and I cooked on my show the way I cook in real life, and that's another story. Why do I cook the way I do? So in my life, in your life, in everybody's lives, there's kind of these connect the dots. I did this because of this, because of this, because of this. So mine is very much a connect the dots kind of a thing. So I decided to do my cooking show under the premise of fed up, fast, easy, delicious, okay? So my thing is, I can do anything in the kitchen very quickly because back in 1983, I was diagnosed with a disease called Meniere's disease, and sometimes my equilibrium is off, and so I have to do things kind of quick, which resulted in my having to do even cooking quickly. So through the years, now you're jumping many, many, many years, from 83 all the way up to 2020. In all those years and raising my family and everything, I learned to cook very, very quickly. Now, because I was brought up in a family with amazing cooks, I learned a lot. And through the years, learned a lot myself. You know, you cook and sometimes that doesn't work. You don't do it again, that kind of a thing. So we did my first cooking show in March of 2020. And shock, it kind of took. We had many, many, many viewers on that first episode. And then, of course, I said, see you next week. Next week came, we had more people viewing. After about 4 or 5, maybe 6 shows of my cooking nook, I started to get viewers from all over the world. Literally, I had China, I had Italy, I had Turkey, I had Ireland, I had people from all over the world, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? How cool is this? So we continued to do the show. After a while, I had guests on it. My family would come on. We had a guest singer. We had a guest speaker. We had a lot of people involved in the show. Okay, and so about maybe a year and a half into the show, my grandson Eden said to me, "Hey, Grandma, you should write a cookbook." Well, I'm one of those cooks that I do a little dash here and this, you know, I don't really measure things. I said, how can I write a cookbook? By the way, anything that I'm talking about, you're chatting on the side, and I'm going to try to look and talk. And so, Chris, maybe you can kind of let me know who's talking and everything. That would be great.
So Benjamin said,
"Hey Ben, how are you?" Thanks for coming on. Listen, just invite your friends. Let them know I'm on. This is a chat nook for everybody. I want everybody to talk. I'm just telling you how we got to the chat nook. Anyway, long story short, and it is a long story, my cooking nook took off. And I still have that cooking channel on YouTube. So check that out. We've got over 80 episodes, and a lot of wonderful things happen. I opened a restaurant, and then I opened another restaurant. And then okay, so after the second restaurant, unfortunately, life takes you into weird places sometimes. And around December of 2024, I became very ill. Now that in and of itself is a very long story, not going into it. But what I will tell you is that the illness gave me, even to today, a lot of limitations. But I love doing this kind of stuff. So I said, okay, so I really can't stand and do cooking anymore. And I really, there are things that I just can't do anymore. So I know what I can do. I can talk. So I went from my cooking nook to online to my cooking nook restaurant to the Nook at Hollister to the Chat Nook. And so everything that I do, I even have a YouTube channel that I just started called The Homespun Nook because I love to crochet. And crocheting has been one of those crazy things that has kept my sanity through the last year of illness. Okay? So what the Chat Nook is all about is that we can sit here and talk about anything. You want to talk about food? You have questions about food? I'd be happy to answer things. If I don't know the answer, I'll look it up, and then the next time we talk, we can talk about that. We're going to talk about anything, even if it's something that, you really, sometimes you can't really talk to a family member. That's too personal. So we'll talk, because I can almost assure you, if you're going through something, whether it's myself or somebody else out there listening, other people have experienced that same thing. And sometimes just talking about it and hearing what other people have to say about it, maybe something that they tried to help, that might do you a world of good. I used the Chat Nook because everything, of course, in my titles has to have some kind of nook. And I said the Chat Nook. Well, that sounded like the Chat Nook Choo Choo. So we got a funny little song, as you probably heard at the beginning of this, and it all kind of fit. But I kind of use the choo-choo as stations in life. Okay, those trains stop at stations, and life is about stations. Okay, so if you're in a station in your life and you feel like you got to get out of that station, you're stuck in that station, let me, let the viewers, let anybody help you get through it. During this last year of the stuff that I've been through. I can't even begin to tell you what has gone on the last year. I'm talking hair loss, teeth loss, weight loss, my legs not working, walking with a walker. I mean, a lot of changes in my life, and a lot of changes that could have really put me, and at times it did. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be very transparent on this podcast too. Could have put me and left me in a very, very bad place. But I chose not to be there. Look, when we have adversity in our lives, we can shrivel up and die. But who the heck wants to do that? I know I'm not. That's not my personality. Do you know that even through the roughest times in the last year, and I have the sniffles because it's freezing outside, so pardon this, but in the last year, I never didn't get up in the morning, take a shower, get dressed, do housework. Even as ill as I was, and a lot of it had to do with my equilibrium from the Meniere's disease, that wasn't all of it. I got up every day and I lived the day. As hard as it's been, as hard as it was, especially when it all started, I got up every single day knowing that whatever it takes, I'm going to get through the day. And I did. And I'm still here to talk about it. So it's really important. You know, my dad passed away in 2012. And he was a counselor. He started out, when I was born, when I was a child, my dad was a mailman in Brooklyn, New York. That's where I was born. And he always said, you know, there's got to be something better out there. So what did the man do? My dad was unbelievable. He worked at the post office. Now in the post office, you're delivering mail very early in the morning. And so he would get up at, 4:30, 5 o'clock, whatever it was, very, very early in the morning. And he would go do his mail route. Now in Brooklyn, New York, there's not little trucks. There's not these little post office vehicles. You walk your routes. And my dad, even in the middle of winter, is walking routes in New York. But somehow he was so determined to be something else and do something else that for 9 years I was probably, I don't know, I might have been about 9 or 10 when he did that, somewhere in there. He went to school at night for 9 years, and he got his degree. And he became a teacher. He became a school teacher. So he didn't have to be out in the freezing cold. He wasn't a mailman anymore, and he became a teacher, an elementary school teacher. I remember that. But through the years, he got more education and more education and more education, little by little, and he became a counselor. And he was a really good counselor. He was a family counselor, a child counselor. And I remember him saying that for your own mental health, that even if you're feeling horrible and you're in a very dark place, get up, get dressed, and do the day. And that is the biggest help you can give your mental health. That's the biggest help you can get. So I took that to heart. And that's exactly what I did. That's what I still do every day. Even though I can't go out to work anymore and I can't do that. Of course, wait a minute, I'm old. I'm 66 years old and, not working every day. And to tell you the truth, I would love to. Because until I was sick, I had my restaurant, I was working every day. And full time every day. And then boom. But you never know where life's going to bring you. So anyway, because of my dad, it didn't matter about all the adversity I was going through, still going through. I decided to get up and do the day. And trust me, guys and girls, that's not easy sometimes. And that's one of the other things that I want to talk about with you, is that what do you do in the midst of adversity? What do you do? Do you give up? No. What do you do? So here are some of the things that I did to keep my sanity, okay? First of all, my mother, Fran, she's out there somewhere. She's at my sister's house. When I was young, she crocheted, and she taught me the preliminary crochet stitching. And so crocheting became really one of the main things that kept me sane. Because if you're crocheting, trust me, you're having to look and think, and how many stitches do I have them, if you're changing stitches and changing colors and all this stuff. But it's something that you have to be very focused on, and crocheting helped me so much. So now I have my little homespun nook on YouTube, and in the last few days I made 2 videos on how to make a pot holder. The first one was a pot holder, and the second one was a multicolored pot holder. And I can't even believe how many people have already viewed my pot holders. Yay! Now see, that's another thing that you can do, is what's your hobby? What do you love to do? Do it. Put it on YouTube. It's free. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things you can do to help yourself. So crocheting was one of those things, okay? I also started to do dotting. Do you guys know what that is? It truly is if you're not focused on that, I mean, you have no choice. If you're doing a dotting, they call it diamond art, but the technique is called dotting. And these tiny little beads, and they give you a picture, and the picture's got like kind of I don't know, some kind of a sticky coating on it. And then you take these little baby dots and you fill it in with the colors. Well, I really got into that. As a matter of fact, right outside my door is, I got, I don't know, maybe 14 dotting pictures. They're all beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And for Christmas, I decided to dot pictures for my family. They're massive pictures, but each one of my daughters, Elizabeth, Emily, and Ashley, hi guys, I made them, Chris and I, my husband Chris, come over here, Chris, come say hi. He's going to come over here and say hi.
Okay.
We sat.
I wasn't going to be on.
Yes, you are going to be on. This is Chris, and you know him. He's been around for a long time. Every time I do a video of some sort or whatever I'm doing, he was the videographer for every one of my 80-plus episodes of my cooking channel and everything. So Chris and I have done a lot of this kind of stuff for many, many years. We performed together with the
We've been doing
Keepsakes.
stuff together for over 40 years.
Over 40 years. We're married over 40 years. So we did the dotting for the kids' families, and the pictures came out. They're so beautiful. Hey, Tim, how are you? I see you down there. Thanks for joining me today. Yay. Anyway, it was the projects that I did through my illness that kept me sane. If you are going through a tough time, you've got to find something that you can totally focus on. My mom does a lot of like word search and crosswords and stuff like that. I can't do that. I don't have the patience for that. But I can crochet all day and I can do dotting. Now, I want to jump back to my cooking channel here. So, yep, I see him on the side there. So anyway, so in 2020, I'm going back a little bit, when I started my cooking show, you know, something like that, you have no idea if it's going to take off. It's just an idea. That's all it is an idea. And I decided, you know, it's just going to be fun and maybe distract people. Well, it did. So then I told you, about a year and a half in, I decided to write my first cookbook. And guess what? It's right here. So this was cookbook number 1. Now in this, see it says fed up right here, right there. Fast, easy, and delicious right here. Because all my recipes are fast, they're easy, and they are delicious, okay? And so I did my first cookbook, okay? And then people were buying it, and buying it, and buying it. And then I would give it away for gifts and stuff. And then number 2 came along. This one's a little thicker. It's got more recipes. It's got family recipes. And not one recipe is the same in either one of these books. So you get lots and lots and lots of recipes. Number 3 came along. I'm not writing any more cookbooks, by the way, but 3 cookbooks. That's quite an accomplishment for me. I thought that was, and that's something that I never thought I'd have, but you never know. Life, folks, is a journey. It's a journey. And take the journey and see where it leads you. You know what I'm saying? We can help it out and kind of maybe guide it in certain areas when you get to those crossroads, those stations that I was talking about on the train, you know. You have to make some decisions sometimes. But I would say that there's so many things in this life. Look, let's face it. In the vast amount of time, whatever that is, time on the planet, okay? We get to have a speck of that time. As human beings, we're born, we die, we get a speck of time. And in that speck of time, what are we doing? What are we doing? And that's something to really think about, because we don't get a lot of second chances. It's not like we're going to be able to live life again. I mean, I guess if you believe in reincarnation, I don't know, not so much. But I do know that the time that I have here, I want it to mean something. I have 3 beautiful daughters. I have 9 beautiful grandchildren. And they all they're so special to me, I couldn't even tell you. So life in and of itself, I'll do whatever it takes to be here and live it and enjoy life. And I can tell you that in the last year, there were moments I thought, wow, am I going to keep going here? Because not mentally, I mean physically. I was like, you know, technically, honestly, folks, this puzzle of what's wrong with me is not solved yet. As a matter of fact, this week I have another MRI. And so, you know, life is one of those things where you have no idea where it's going, but it doesn't matter. Isn't that almost exciting to know what tomorrow's going to bring, and the next day and the next day? And I tell you what, in my 66 years, I've been very surprised at times. Very, very surprised. Because I said, well, I didn't know that was going to happen, but wow, that's really cool. And that's what you got to do. You got to take life for what it is. You know, I'm hoping that, you know, the world is it's a crazy place, and there's a lot of problems in the world. But that doesn't mean there has to be a lot of problems in your world. You are in control of your world. And these are the things, like I said, I've lived 66 years. I've learned a lot. I still admit every day I learn something else. And I try to incorporate it somehow in my life. And so far, it's worked well. Okay? I learn lessons. And here's the thing. When you learn something new, you can either take it or leave it. And so that's a decision to make. And so be smart about that kind of stuff. You know, if I do this, does it feel a little iffy? It doesn't feel right? Then don't do it. Use your brain, use your heart, use your soul to make decisions like that, so that maybe your life won't be so challenging. You know what I mean? Let's see. Thanks for being here. So, we've got somebody from Pennsylvania listening.
Yep.
Woohoo!
And February is coming from Pennsylvania, says they are messed up there with the snowstorm.
You know, February. Thanks for joining us today. I'll tell you what, we're here in Missouri, and we got slammed the last couple of days, and we're all kind of shut-ins right now. You can go out, but only if you really need to. Everybody here stocked up because we knew that this storm was coming. Anybody else?
Comments there, yeah.
Let's see. Knowledge is one of the only things you can gain that nobody can take away from you. Tim, 100% correct. 100% correct. So don't shut that down. Don't think if somebody, listen, how do we learn? We learn by reading. We learn from TV. We learn from other people. We learn from it comes from everywhere, right? Don't shut those things down. You know, I mean, just listen. We've got 2 ears. We need to learn to listen. That's knowledge. Reading. If you read, my dad was an avid reader, and he was a very smart, but even more than smart, he was a very smart man, but he was a very wise man. And wisdom comes from listening and learning and understanding, and then incorporate it in your life in a positive way. Look, there's negativity, there's positivity. Stay away from the negativity, because I don't know many people in my life and in my own life where negativity ever led to something good. I don't know about you guys, but and if you know negative people, stay away. Stay away from them. We don't need that. Life is too short. Life is precious. And we need to live it the best we can, okay? You know, I think, I probably shouldn't say this because they don't, public forums don't like this, but if God, I'm not going to preach because I'm not a preacher person, believe me. But I think a lot of times, use God or something. Would he do this? Would Jesus do this? Because maybe that's a deciding thing, okay? And trust me, I'm not a religious fanatic by any means. I'm really not. And I have my own thoughts on religion, and trust me, even on this show, if that's something you want to talk about, we'll talk about it. This is an open forum. This is a transparent forum, and this is what I'm trying to do. This is just a place to chat. Okay, we have somebody else? Okay.
No, Tim just is responding.
Good thing to try to find a takeaway from every experience. Absolutely, absolutely. And take away meaning you could either take it and absorb it and use it, or throw it away. Okay? You just have to keep your head on straight. And I'll tell you what, that was one of the things I've always been very proud of. My parents raised 5 children. I have 1 sister and 3 brothers. They're all successful people. And it's because our parents were, I don't want to say strict. I mean, yes, they were strict. And we were raised, my mother's 100% Italian. So I'm very proud of my heritage. My dad was half Irish, half French. And so, but they raised us where, we really knew right from wrong. Which, thank God, thank you, Mom and Dad, for teaching us the right way, the wrong way. And so I got my basis and the things that I feel and think from them. Now, as you grow older, you might modify that. You might say, well, I don't really agree with everything that they said about this, so this is how I feel. And that's okay. God gave us free will, right? We can think and feel the way we want. But use that for good things, for positive things. As in, what's the takeaway? As in, what did I learn? Amen. I mean, that's it. That's what it's all about. What did you learn from that? If you are a person that always kind of leans towards the negative side, that's what you're feeding yourself. That's what you're feeding yourself. And if you are a person that takes an experience and then just says, no, I can't have that, gosh, that's the way to go. That's the smart person to be. Okay, so yes.
So
Chris is telling me like who's on it, who's talking.
We've got some followers on the
Oh,
Facebook as well. I know
okay,
you can't see that
Facebook.
full screen, but Susie Q is on.
Susan, how are you, girl?
And
Thanks for being here today.
we had Jennifer Sandoval. This is going to maybe take us down a little side road here for just a moment.
Okay.
When Jennifer Sandoval got on, she was asking about my Cooking Nook restaurant when it was open, or the Nook at Hollister restaurant when it's open, and I've explained to her in the chat over there that we are now operating as the Brunch Nook.
Right, so let me explain that for those of you who don't know. When I started the cooking show, it led to our first restaurant in Branson, Missouri, and it was my Cooking Nook. That was our first restaurant. The building that we were in was an old historic building, and it had a lot of problems. I mean, the building itself had a lot of problems. So the landlord wanted to just sell the building. So he gave us a choice, and he said, you can either stay and see who buys this and see the lease out, or I'm going to let you out of your lease. You're free to go, and so that's what we did. We closed that restaurant because it really did need some major, even floor upgrades. It needed a lot of work. And so it took us a little bit of time. It took us about 10 weeks. And my sister Jennifer, Jennifer is a crucial part of this story, and I'll tell you about that. She lived, I don't remember if we lived in Hollister at the time, but my sister lived in Hollister, Missouri at the time. And on her way home one day, she saw a building for rent, for lease. So she called me up and she said, I don't know, go check this out, which I did. Long story short, it was perfect. It looked like a small house, but it had room for the kitchen. It had a main dining room, and then it had 4 smaller rooms. And so we made 3 of those, the Arizona Nook, the Baseball Nook, the Nostalgia Nook. So, and people could sit, it was almost like little private areas for people to sit. And then we had a big storage room. And so we opened that up probably 2023, I believe. I think October of 2023. And none of us could believe what happened with that restaurant. None of us could believe. It went crazy. We had nothing but 5-star ratings. We had thousands of customers. I mean, this tiny little building was thriving, absolutely thriving. Like, we were all shocked, okay? And so what happens is we're going along fine now. Now, mind you, that the food, even though this was my restaurant, my ideas, even my menu, I didn't want to be the cook. So my sister, who is an amazing cook, Chef Jeb, J-E-B, is my sister, and Alicia, my sister-in-law, my daughter, Elizabeth, my other 2 daughters helped out, Emily and Ashley, my niece, Miley, my mom, Chris. Basically, it was a family-run small restaurant that went bonkers. It was unbelievable. And we're going along, and we're getting busier. We have a hello there. There's Chef Jeb. Hey, Jennifer. Talking about you. So we were going crazy and very busy. Our Sunday brunches were lines of people waiting to get in. And I get sick. And that kind of changed everything. I wasn't able to work anymore. And they were so busy that eventually we had to make some decisions. How can we keep this going and keep the integrity of the food we were down to 4 family members at that time, and we had to make some decisions. So what we did was, I was up at a doctor's appointment in Springfield, and I spotted a food truck. So Chris and I went back around, we checked the food truck out, talked to the man, talked to my sister, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, she bought the food truck, and now because brunch was so huge, which by the way, we got top rating in, they have a local awards thing, and we got the gold star for best brunch in the area. And so who is this now?
So
Okay.
they said hi from Ginger.
Hi, Ginger. How are you? Ginger's worked at the restaurant too. That's right. Ginger's worked there.
Tim, his comments there, he says, "Yep," and y'all are still slinging some really good food. For
Thanks,
sure.
Tim.
And I just put a post-it reminding everybody to share, like, and subscribe.
Like and subscribe to the Chat Nook, guys. Now, anyway, talk about my sister real quick. She's the cook. She's the main chef. She's amazing. One of the best. I would put her up with her food against anybody. I don't care if you've gone to the Cordon Bleu in France. It doesn't matter. She is an amazing chef. And her food, I could have the ideas all day long, but it has been her food that has made this whole concept that I had work. Alicia is unbelievable. She is doing everything else in the background, the salads, everything that you can think of. Alicia's back there doing all that. Elizabeth worked up front and did the register and took care of all the people out front. I mean, it really was a family effort. My grandkids worked on weekends. I mean, it was just something. But now they've got the food truck, the Brunch Nook, at the Lions Club in Branson, Missouri, which we're Lions also, which go Lions. And it has just been an amazing journey from March of 2020 to what is going on today has just been amazing. And so we thank everybody who has supported everything that My Cooking Nook started, and how it has turned into what it's turned into. It's been a blessing, and it's been unbelievable. So people like Tim out there, Tim is probably one of the top fans that we have, and he gets food there all the time. So thank you, Tim, for all of your support and your support today too. So anyway, folks, this is what the Chat Nook's all about, just chatting. All we're going to do is talk. You might even direct how the show goes every week, because I'm going to have things that I kind of want to talk about, but it's the things that you want to talk about that is more important to me. What do you need or want to talk about? What's on your mind? What's on your heart? This is what the Chat Nook is all about. Let's get you from one station to the next if we need to. Okay, talk about depression. I've been there many times in my life. I've been there several times in the last year, and I can help you through that. I know my own tricks and what I've done. So these are the things that I want to get personal. I want to be transparent, and I want to, at the same time, just have this really neat forum for everybody out there. We already had people from Pennsylvania. We appreciate that. We want people to jump on the Chat Nook Choo Choo and just talk. Talk about anything on your mind or on your heart. What does that say? Got any questions or chat topics? Yes. Whatever you guys want to talk about. As a matter of fact, let's do that right now. Somebody send me a subject. And what I'm going to say in the meantime is that I love talking about food. So food can always be a part of this show. And I'll tell you, when you're off of the Chat Nook today, go to My Cooking Nook on YouTube, the videos, the cooking videos. When you go to the My Cooking Nook, you have to press the video section, and it'll pull up it's over 80 plus videos, okay? And every single episode is different. The food, the recipes, it's all different. It's all different. Starting next, we're going to do this every Monday. Well, maybe not, because Chris's schedule is changing, but we will let you know. But we're going to do the Chat Nook once a week for now. We want everybody to jump on board the Chat Nook, okay? And have something on your mind that you want to talk about, because that's what this is all about. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Today, I'm just filling it in. Yes.
So, Ashley.
Yes, Ashley, my daughter Ashley.
She messaged, she says they're watching at home, watching you on the big screen on the TV.
Well, wait a minute. I got to say hi to Ashley, Jeremy, Artis, Murray, and my little Gemma. Hi, guys. How are you doing? Jimmy, are you seeing Grandma on TV? I have the most, I'm just going to say this, guys. I have the most amazing daughters, sons-in-law, and grandchildren, and sister, and brother, and mom. Everybody in my family, I cherish. They are amazing people. Chris's family, all amazing people. I don't know how this all happened, but I got really lucky.
Lots of blessings.
Lots and lots of blessings. So, and I hope you're feeling the same way about your family.
Ashley had asked a question.
Yes. So Ashley, what's your question?
So she said, first of all, she said the girls are screaming because we called them. And they're doing great. But her question was, of all the things in your cookbooks,
yes,
what is your favorite thing to cook? What is
my favorite thing to cook? You're not going to believe this, okay? With everything that I do, and I'm probably this between the 3 cookbooks, there's hundreds of recipes in here. But I have to say, my favorite thing to cook and my favorite thing to eat is soup and a sandwich. I love soup. When my mom was living with me, what is Tim saying? What part of Italy is your family from? We're from Sicily. All of my mom's family, my mom's 100% Italian, and they're all from Sicily. So yeah, that little tail, that little boot in Italy. What was it? Oh, soup and sandwich. When my mom used to live here with me, if she and I don't care, even in the middle of the summer, she and I would have soup and a sandwich. And that's what I love. I don't like anything super heavy at night, so soup is perfect. It's perfect. And then you can do anything with soup. You've got some leftover potatoes, you've got some leftover veggies, you've got some leftover meat, whatever it is. Make soup. I always have broth here, or I make my own broth with, just boil a chicken or whatever. But soup is so easy, and it's one of those things where you can throw anything in the pot. It's going to be great. So, Ashley, soup and sandwich is my favorite thing to make and to eat.
So, comments over here, you should be able to see Jeb and Alicia are both saying pasta, pasta.
Pasta.
Over here on Facebook.
I'm a pasta girl.
Over here on Facebook, Elizabeth is on. She says they're watching, and Nick says hi too. Suzanne says, choo choo, chugga chugga.
Chugga chugga.
The trains are moving. And Tim had said, hey, what part of Italy is your family
I got Sicily.
I
I said yes.
Yes, and Tim's agreed.
And yes, everybody in my family is saying right now that I love pasta. Pasta is my favorite thing. What I didn't say was almost every soup I make has pasta in it. So, so I just kind of combine the things that I love, and I have pasta. Talk about how we all share what we make for dinner. Oh yeah, this is a cool thing that my family does. Every night, everybody makes whatever they're making at home, and then they send pictures to the family to see who made what. And everybody's dishes always look so amazing. Now, it's funny to me, it is really funny to me, that I see what my 3 daughters have made, and I think when they were kids, I couldn't get them to eat like a string bean, a green bean. They hated that stuff. And now to see the food with asparagus and, what all these things, that I'm like, when did that happen? Because now their food, first of all, their food world is a million times bigger than mine, because I eat about 5 foods. Like, that's true. But theirs is just, I love what's happened, because they're very, they explore food, and they're going to try this, and they're going to try that. And I'm like, when did that happen? Because let's go back, girls. About 30 years ago, when I couldn't get you, I could make 1 can of green beans and have leftover for the next night. That's yeah. They were not good. What does it say? With your mom, we were, what does it say?
It says, with your mom, we were rating who eats the most pasta. So number 1 is Christine, number 2 is Ginger, number
Definitely.
3 is Sebi.
Oh, I didn't know Sebi liked pasta. Is he a pasta guy? I didn't know that. I did not know that. Well, there's nothing wrong with pasta. And I'll tell you, my favorite pasta right now is cavatappi. Oh, I could eat that. I make chili with cavatappi. I make everything with cavatappi right now, because that's like my favorite thing to eat right now. Anyway, anybody have any questions out there? We're gonna end here in a few minutes. This has been a great first podcast. Next week, I'm gonna put this invitation out there right now. I would like, actually, my daughter Elizabeth said, Mom, I'd like to do the podcast with you sometime. So maybe Elizabeth can be here, anyone in my family, but I want Chef Jeb here next week when we do the podcast, and we'll talk to her about her life. Well, first of all, you're not going to believe what she is licensed in, what her real job is, and how she got into the food thing. So we'll talk to her next week. And then we'll get my mom on here at some point, and she can tell you all about what's happened with her meatballs. Because she has become, since we opened the restaurant, she's become very, very famous for her meatballs. So, and she can tell you all about that. And we can't seem to duplicate Mom's meatballs. So, well, who knows? Anyway, you guys, anybody else?
Well, yes, actually, Ashley, I think, is messaging me on my phone directly because they're watching on TV, so
Right.
she can't message through the TV.
That's okay.
But she said, artist wanted to tell you
Yes.
that, this is what it says, that she is going to start cooking lessons with Chef Jeb next season.
Wow! Artist,
She's going
yeah!
to make you so proud. And Ashley also said Mima is the OG.
She is the OG, man. I'll tell you why. Like I said, trying to duplicate anything that Mom makes, when she makes like spaghetti sauce, I cheat and I open up my favorite can, not a jar. I have a special sauce in a can that I like the best. I use that. Not Mom. My mom makes sauce. It's sauce. It's that pot on the stove and all day cooking and bubbling and simmering, and that's how Mom makes sauce. And there's nothing like it. I mean, honestly, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like home cooked from scratch food. Anyway, okay, so I also wanted to say hi. I think my other grandchildren are watching, so I'm going to say hi, Nick. I'm going to say hi, Sean. Hi, Bailey. I don't know if Eden's watching. Hi, Eden. Hi, Tobin. Hey, Tobin, I want you to see this. I still use this cup. Tobin was very, very little. This is several years ago. He's probably 4 or 5 years old. And he went into like this little thrift store, and he picked this up for me. He did the shopping all by himself, and he picked this mug up for me. And I use this mug every morning, Tobin. So thank you, Tobin, for my #1 grandma mug. I'm going to take a sip. Anyway, you guys, this has been really fun for me. It's my first, let's see, somebody's saying, Tobin is asleep in my lap, but I will share this with him.
Oh, Emily's on. Hey.
Emily's on. That's great. Listen, this has been great because, like I said, people from other places, other states have come on, and that's really awesome. We're going to do this once a week. Even though we started on a Monday, Chris just happened to be off today, but he's not going to be off on Monday. So we'll let you guys know, what day we're going to do this, and we hope that you join us, and we hope that you understand what the Chat Nook Choo Choo is all about. It's just getting on board and chatting about anything on your heart and on your mind. That's all we're here for, so we can share our experiences, maybe share some insight to something you're going through right now. That's what it's all about, just a place to talk, to chat, okay? And Chef Jeb will be here next week talking about her plans with the food truck and what's going on and how that all started. And so I'll just keep bringing guests on also. Anybody else? You're saying something over there?
Well, just Elizabeth is on the Facebook feed here. She said Grandpa Betty's family is specifically from the city of Santa Margarita.
Santa Margarita,
Yeah,
right?
so Tim was asking where they're from.
Right.
And Sebastian's on, and he
Hey,
said,
Sebastian.
Aunt.
Hey, Sebastian. Now, my nephew Sebastian, who also has an interest in cooking. I said there's a lot of cooks in my family. My daughters have all gotten really good at cooking. And Sebastian has been on my cooking show several times. So what I'm going to tell you guys is I invite you to go to My Cooking Nook on YouTube, to my cooking channel, and then go into videos. And I've got many episodes, and you're going to see all kinds of food for holidays. Hey, I did a Thanksgiving meal one time for $29, a whole Thanksgiving meal for $29. That was true. I shopped specifically for a meal for four, I believe it was 4 or 6 people. It's been a while. Either 4 or 6 people. I kept all the receipts, and the whole meal cost me $29 to make. That was a Thanksgiving meal. So not only is it fast, easy, and delicious, it's also a great budget show. Yes, what you got?
Georgia Beck says, hi, Christine. Good
Hi,
to see you
Georgia.
and hear you.
Hi, Georgia. Thanks for being here. Hey, listen, this has been a great podcast so far. We've had lots of people in and out and stuff, and watching and commenting. So this has been super. We're glad you're here too. And I know Georgia loves the Brunch Nook and My Cooking Nook. Georgia has been one of our #1 fans as well. And she's been a great supporter of our food. She brings people with her. She's a great lady, a very sweet lady, a world traveler lady. And she just is just such a neat person. And like I said, a great supporter of My Cooking Nook. So we appreciate that very much. Georgia, you've been on a couple of my cooking shows, I believe, in the restaurant, right? Isn't that true? I think so. Anyway, if you guys have any questions right now, we're gonna go about 8 more minutes here. And so if you have something you want to say, or you want to talk about, or you want to touch on real quick, but we are glad that you jumped on the Chat Nook Choo Choo today. This has been really fun. It's been a pleasure for me to do something that I can do sitting down and not have to depend on my legs right now, and not have to depend on my equilibrium. So because I have all these problems that kind of led me here, because I can sit, woohoo, and I can talk, woohoo. So here we are.
Georgia says, yes, she has been on your show.
I thought so. At least 2, maybe probably more than that. I do remember that, and I thank you for that, because I loved doing the cooking shows. I loved doing them, but then, life brings you to funny places. Sometimes not so funny places, but it doesn't matter, because life is a journey. It's just a journey. This is the Chat Nook. Like and subscribe. Yes, Chris is reminding you guys. Please be a subscriber to the channel, and then we will keep you updated on when we're going to actually do this. It'll be a weekly thing for now. Next time will be a guest speaker, my sister, Chef Jeb. We can do a live episode at the food truck. That's true. We can do a live episode at the food truck. And I'll tell you what, I'm craving this right now. My sister makes the most amazing breakfast burritos. Like, they're big, they're fat. I eat 1/2 for breakfast and 1/2 for lunch. They are so good that if you live in this area and you haven't tried the Brunch Nook, woo, man, are you missing out. You are missing out. Oh, Alicia says, say hi to Georgia for me. Alicia's saying hi to you, Georgia. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for being here today. We really appreciate that. Next time we do the show, come in with a question or whatever you want to talk about. I really would like you to direct the show. in the sense of, you want to talk about this, this is what we're going to talk about. I will always have a subject or two or three, but I'd really like this to be about you and what you want to talk about. There was something I was going to say. Oh, there is a segment that I want to do at the end of every show. And the segment is called I Don't Understand. And this is what I don't understand today. When my illness started at the end of 2024, I had so many questions, and I kept saying, I don't understand what's happened. I don't understand what's happened. Here we are in January of 26, and I'm still saying I don't understand. But here's the thing. I will tell you. When you're ill, you need a lot of perseverance. I have seen doctors, I've been to hospitals, I've been all over the state of Missouri, and I won't say that nobody's helped me because a lot of people have helped me. The problem is that we still don't know what I have. And so the puzzle is still lots of pieces that I can't fill in. So I don't understand. I don't understand kind of what happened and why I'm still this way. And, you know, there's so many questions. So that's what I don't understand. That sometimes the answer's not there. It's just not there. And I don't understand because I'm still trying to figure out what the heck happened to me. But not understanding something doesn't mean that you give up, that you stop persevering, that you stop living. It means that you just keep going. So this week I've got a dental appointment, and this week I've got another MRI, and I'm going to keep doing things because I love my life and I want to be on this earth as long as I can. So let's see. Wednesdays are the best. Chef Jeb. Oh, so Tim is saying, Tim is an avid customer of the Brunch Nook, and he is saying Wednesdays are the best because Chef Jeb makes Cuban sandwiches. Holy cow! If you haven't had one of those, again, you're missing out. Anything else on your phone?
Not at this end yet.
Okay, listen, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you've had fun. I've had fun talking because I do have the gift of gab, and I can just talk and talk and talk. And my kids will probably tell you, yeah, she's right. That's my mom. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. I love my grandkids. Hi, babies. Bye, babies. Thank you for joining me today. Maybe you guys can be on my show at some point. We would love that. And you can tell the people all the fabulous things that you guys are doing already with your very young lives. I would love to brag about you guys. I will brag about you guys and my daughters and my sons-in-law, everybody in the family. And so you guys just stay focused. Do what you have to live life. Do it every day. And just God bless you all. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on the Chat Nook. Bye-bye.